Alrighty, let us get started. So, as I said, I'm going to be talking about the Totara talent experience platform today. So that's all three products: Totara Learn, Totara Engage, and Totara Perform. But of course, the mobile app is included across that. So I'll be touching on the mobile app as well. So about 44%, if I recall correctly, are using a Totara product already, and they're most likely using Totara Learn, our learning management system. And our learning management system has all of the functionality that you would expect from a robust and enterprise-focused learning management system like Totara Learn. So there are ways to manage large groups or audiences of individuals and apply different automated processes and allocations to those audiences. We have a robust way of managing compliance and mandatory training. There is a report builder, which allows you to create your own custom reports and edit existing reports within the system. You can theme and rebrand your Totara Learn site. You can either use our inbuilt brand editor within the system as an administrator, or you can work with a Totara partner to create a custom look and feel for your site. There is course management. So we have courses bundled up into different categories, and those courses can host a range of content. In fact, it's file agnostic and will support any file type you upload, as well as e-learning standards like SCORM and AICC and IMS. So you can create a online, offline, or blended program using Totara Learn. We also have competency management, so you can create competency frameworks and build into those frameworks the skills, knowledge, behaviours that you would expect or you need from your team or across your organisation. There are a range of personalization features, and I have been updating the feature sheets in advance of the version 14 release. So I've been editing and creating content in US language. So right now that word personalization looks entirely wrong for me. So any of our US individuals on this side, I apologize for the S. I'm looking at a Z in my mind as well as you. We also have a range of adaptive learning functionality across Totara Learn. So that would be an adaptive pathway, whether that's a set of courses that are completed and selected on an adaptive pathway, like within programs, or within a course where you can use the access restrictions and completion tracking to build a custom learning journey and deliver certain activities and resources to certain users using this functionality, and build in gamification as a result. Totara Learn across, in fact, Totara Engage and Totara Perform are also fully GDPR compliant. Learn offers learning plans, learning development plans. We have a really robust way of managing offline and virtual training management, and talk about that in a little bit more detail, and as well as a custom catalog. So you can have a custom look and feel to your catalog. You can upload your own images and you can make it look as you like and display the content that you'd like. For those of you that have joined us and are on a version earlier than the current version, so on Learn 12 or earlier, back in October of last year, so not very long ago, we released Totara Learn 13 along with Engage and Perform. And that included some exciting new updates. In particular, I've called a few out here, and that included enhanced multi-tenancy. So you can, and I'll show you in a moment, you can have different tenants and tenant administrators and tenant look and feels across those tenants as you like. There's some updates to the report builder. I've talked and teased you already about the updates to the seminar management tool, which includes an integration with both Zoom and Microsoft Teams. We've implemented the badges standard 2.0, which means that you can have versioning and multiple languages and endorsements across your badges. There's a few catalog updates and generally an improved look and feel. So hopefully when we get to the demo, which is now, you'll see some improvements. So before I can take a breath and a sip of water here, Matt, is there anything I need to know?
Got a question on whether or not you can have like 2 different accounts with 2 different types of branding and 2 different single sign-ons with one super administrator.
Yeah, you sure can. Yep. So the way tenancy works is that you can have any number of tenants or these kind of groups of individuals. Each tenant can have an individual administrator, which can do things like administer users, create and edit accounts, as well as sort of site manager level access at the tenant context. Or you can have these tenants managed by a super, or I prefer the term Uber user, if you so like, and they can have both separate and shared courses if you so wish. They'll have a different login page. So this login page you see here is just a generic one, but you can have a different logo and a different image across the front here for different tenants. They can use different login authentication methods. And when they log in, they'll see a uniquely tenant, a unique dashboard for that particular tenant. And if they are going to log in like I am as a learner that isn't part of a tenant, then they would have a third or a different experience again. Great question, thank you. So yes, this page can be branded and you can have a different URL for different tenants as well. So I'm going to start off logging in as Lisa Learner. I pick on her regularly, so you'll see that she's got 101 different seminar bookings. She is busy attending the same event over and over again. Don't feel sorry for her. But Lisa here is just a learner. She does have a couple of team members, but in all other ways, what you see in terms of Lisa is exactly the same experience that you would have as a standard user across the site. Later on, I will switch up and I will log in as administrator, so you can see some of the updates across tenancy and report builder, as well as some updates across Perform. So here on this dashboard, you'll see if you are using 12 or earlier that we've kind of brightened the look and feel across the talent experience platform. We've made it nice and white and kind of easy to see and easy to look at, but of course you can apply your own look and feel. And in this case, this dashboard, you have most of this functionality across earlier versions, but we do have this nice tile-based view or optional view for the current learning block. If you like the list, that's totally cool. You can change that. I just like the tiles because it looks a little bit more like the course catalog, so it's more of a seamless experience. Now, I should say for everyone watching, I have a small and perhaps unhealthy obsession with honey badgers. So at any point, let's play Spot the Honey Badger. You'll see them throughout the site. So counts at the end for anyone paying attention. So I'm Lisa Learner, logged in, I've hit this dashboard. In this case, I am using Engage and Learn as well as Perform. So you can see across the navigation, you can't really tell that I've got 3 different products installed. They all work seamlessly. So if I move from this dashboard to the course catalog, I have a catalog of content, and that includes the certifications, courses and programs that you'll be used to across Total 12, but also playlists and resources, which are an aspect of Total Engage. If I move to the Engage area as my library area, this is a new area across the talent experience platform, but completely seamless, and a user won't be able to tell that they're in a different part of the system or in a different product within the system. They're designed to work separately as well as together at the same level. Now, combining Engage and Learn is particularly powerful. In fact, Matt, I might surprise you. The first surprise link might be a link to the article that I wrote the other day, which describes the benefits of using both a learning management system and an LXP. So it means that you can support your instructor-led training, your formal training, your compliance training across Totara Learn within your courses, but you can also support peer-to-peer learning and social learning across Engage. So like Lisa here, she's created some pieces of content. In this case, she's super excited about multi-tenancy and extended enterprise, but she's also created some videos linked to Josh Burson's video, as well as some other content that we've developed here. And creating content as an individual, super easy. This is all the default settings, but of course, being Totara, there's a robust and very granular permissions framework underpinning all of this. So if you don't want users to create content, you can simply disallow that. But of course, engage and allow XP. The major philosophy behind that is to allow users to create content and share content, because how else can you tap into the knowledge and experience and expertise that sits within your organization? So this is a resource, and I can add text here as I like, and I have a rich text editor here where I can put in headings and subheadings. I can add links, I can make attachments, and I can embed media, and I can use a range of basic emojis as well. In terms of embedding media, it can be some media or an audio or a video file that you have stored on your local machine, or you can just plonk a link to a YouTube video or a Vimeo video directly into this editing area here, and it will automatically embed that video. Now, what I'm going to do is just open a window, move that out the way so you can't all see what I've been watching on YouTube, because who knows what's going to come up with my recommendations. So we'll, I can't see any good news or anything that's work friendly. Let me just get a link to Totara Learn. There we go. So what is safe is our own content. So I'm just going to grab a video link here to a sharing resources in the Totara Academy. And I'm just going to put it here in the title so you can see that I've just got a YouTube video, and that's all I'm going to be copying and pasting. And I've copied and pasted, and now that video is embedded. So it means that this, as the first image here, will also become the thumbnail, which is the image that will show in the course catalog. But if I was to add another image along the top here, that would of course then become the thumbnail as you like. Now, when I create these pieces of content, I've got the actual language within it. I also have the ability to add hashtags. And when I create these pieces of content, they all feed into the recommendations engine, which I'll come back to once we've created this piece of content. So when I create content, I can choose whether to keep it to myself. It might be a piece of content that I'm not quite ready to share. It might be in draft, or it could be just a video that I've grabbed that I want to come back to and view at another time. I can also share it with limited people, and that could be for specific people. And note, if I'm using multi-tenancy, only the people in my tenant will pop up here. I can alternatively share with a workspace, and a workspace is another part of Totara Engage, and they're collaborative communication spaces that are available, and I'll show you those after I finish coming back and then going to dashboards and talking about recommendations. I promise you I'll come back to workspaces. Now, the time to read is an important tag here. You can search for this across the course catalog. And again, it feeds into that recommendations engine, which I keep talking about. I can also share with everyone. And if I do that, I have this additional value here, which is assigned topic. And these topics are these are the ones populated on my demo site. You can create your own as an administrator. And again, this feeds into both the recommendations engine and that learning catalog. So you're able to filter and search for resources just as easily as you can search for courses within Totara Learn. So there's my piece of content here. And you'll see that there's a series of 4 icons at the bottom of all my content here. And this shows that I have received, in this case, 1 like for this piece of content. There are no comments, no shares, and this hasn't been added to any workspaces. However, there's some content down here, which is just a little slightly more popular. So if I go into a piece of content here, which has received a like, you can see that I've received a like, and it's, I've liked my own content, brilliant. This piece of content appears in a particular playlist, which is a collection or curation of content. And if I was to look at the comments, in case there are none, I can add a comment. and we can create a discussion across a particular piece of content here on this particular resource, and people can again like those comments. So all those likes and star ratings across playlists and likes across discussions and resources all feed into the reporting tool, which we'll see in a moment. So you can see which users are creating content, which users are creating good content by crowdsourced votes. And those individuals who are engaging in a positive manner across your Totara Engage installation through these likes. I will take questions in just a moment. I just want to wrap up the library area. The other type of resource you can create is a survey. And if you want to see this in action, both resources and surveys, I'd encourage you to head over to the Totara community. We're using both Learn and Engage there. And in fact, I think there's a couple of, or at least one active poll or survey across the community now around web conferencing software. So you can see what it looks to complete a survey and how the results are displayed. And these pulse surveys or quick surveys can be used to collect information like we're using in the community. It can be just a sort of a wellness check for individuals within a playlist. So maybe you've got an induction playlist and you want to stop at various points and see how people are doing. Or you can use it in a more social manner and see where folks want to go for lunch and well, maybe next month or so, depending on your lockdown situation. So you can have these survey questions with single or multiple answers here, and you can add more fields if you so wish. Now we've got these pieces, individual pieces of content, these resources, and you can see that they've been shared variously. We can also curate these pieces of content together. So for example, Lisa's excited about multi-tenancy. Perhaps she completed a course within Learn around Introduction to Totara Learn, where multi-tenancy was touched on, and she thought, I'd like to learn a little bit more. Maybe there's some applications for me within my organization. So she's gone through her learning journey to find more information. And as she's done that, she's created resources to document that so that she can later share with others. So for example, what is multi-tenancy as a resource? Multi-tenancy deep dive webinar with my stupid face again, and then an item from the Academy. Now, a playlist can be a collection of related content, or it could be a start to finish journey of information. So in that case, you'd probably want to finish on the deep dive. So I can just drag and drop, oops, if I get my mouse right, there we go. Drag and drop these items around to rearrange the order that people would progress through these playlists. So like that, we can receive likes on items. We can receive star ratings across playlists. And again, that all feeds into the reporting tool. So you can see who's creating this valuable content. All right, I am going to jump back to the course catalog, take a sip while Matt asks me any questions in relation to what we've just seen.
Just to say, so Meredith's talking a lot about finding resources and playlists with Totara Engage. I've just shared a couple of links, but one of those is a Academy course where you can go in, you can have a look at YouTube videos, and you can see this in action. You can even take a system simulation where you try and build your own resources in the Academy. So yeah, do go and have a look at that. All of our courses are through the Totara community. If you haven't got an account, it's free to sign up. So just click on the links and you'll be sent to the Totara community.
Lovely, thank you. I do recommend those Academy courses. The team put a fantastic amount of thought and effort into creating really great content. It is simple to follow and easy to use, so do recommend. So you get the Meredith endorsement for free there, Matt. So here we are on the course catalog, and you'll notice that I can filter by those playlists, and there's that multi-tenancy one we saw a moment ago. And we can filter on resources if we so wish. Oops, I confused it by clicking too fast. And we can filter by the time to read as well as topics as we so wish. So jumping back to that dashboard, we have the ability to add recommendations here on this front page. Now, this is my demo site. So there's only basically me and Lisa who happen to be the same person logging in and logging out. Recommendations work best when you've got more users, they're more active, the better those recommendations. But those recommendations will display here on this front page, and you can have 4 different types of recommendations displayed. And this is a machine learning driven algorithm. And you can share or show trending items, so just stuff that people are clicking on and viewing. You can have recommendations for particular microlearning, and microlearning are those resources that we've created there within our libraries or other people's libraries that have been flagged as taking less than 5 minutes to complete. The recommendations engine can also provide recommendations for courses that sit within Totara Learn. And they can provide recommendation for workspaces, which I will go into. I'll click on it so you know that I'm about to go into it. So those recommendations are generated in a couple of different ways. It will tap into the content within the actual resource. So in the example that I just posted, there weren't any words or hashtags, but ordinarily you would have some content in there. So there's natural language processing across that content, and it will take into account any hashtags, the text within the resource, as well as the topics, and provide you suggestions based on your previous clicking around and the previous likes and what you've read that are similar in content and topic. In terms of course recommendations, it will only provide you recommendations on courses that you haven't yet enrolled or completed. And in terms of workspaces, finally, she's clicking on it. It'll provide recommendations of workspaces, again, based on the content within it, based on the resources that have been added to that workspace and the topics associated with it. So a workspace can be a public or a private collaboration area, and there's lots of different applications for a particular workspace. It could be a discussion on a particular area. So Lisa is really excited about the opportunities around offering an extended enterprise solution for her organization. So she's created a workspace here. She's added added a few decision makers to the list, and she's added her playlist. She's added another resource around what is extended enterprise, and is inserted a survey here to kind of stimulate that discussion. Now, she just as easily, we could have a private space to discuss these types of things. You might have workspaces that cover particular sections of an organization or particular areas or discussion areas like customer care or the nursing department. And you might even use these as a project space for long or short-term projects, or even a really interesting use of it is around an induction workspace. You can have an open public workspace for new joiners who can work through various pieces of content and can have discussions and receive support from other new starters as well as more experienced staff who'll be able to answer their questions right here in the workspace. Okay, any questions?
Again, just to say, I've posted another Academy course all about workspaces this time, and there's a little video there that you could save for later as well, which is 4 minutes or so. You can see how to set up a workspace.
Is that the Academy course with that fantastic resource that you wrote about how you could possibly use workspaces?
That's the one and only.
Well, if for no other reason, I would suggest everyone here goes into that course. That is a fantastic resource, and it's got some really great ideas. I've really just scratched the surface about how work spaces can be leveraged. So do have a read. It's an easy but good read. Again, 2 thumbs up from the Badger lover. Okay, let's jump into some functionality across. Actually, finally, let's wrap up on Engage. Let's do that instead. So one of the big pieces that we felt were important across Totara Engage, we basically did a lot of research around LXPs, and we've got these 6 pillars of engagement. So it's being able to create content, to be able to curate content, to receive recognition for the content and engagement that you're displaying, to be able to receive recognition, excuse me, I decided to choke at that point. So reporting, as well as integration. Now, integration, we're looking at integrating Engage, well, we have integrated Engage with a number of things, but one of the big things is across Microsoft Teams. So let me just bring that up. So this is my Teams connection here. And this is connecting to another Totara site that happens to be hosted in my home country of New Zealand. And this is an app that you can install and create, also not create, you can install on your Microsoft Team installation. You can upload a custom icon if you so wish. And what this allows you to do is connect your Engage site to your MS Team site. And we call this working in the flow of work. And how we enable that is through a couple of mechanisms. So the first is through, and it just takes a little while because this is hosted in New Zealand, is being able to browse that course catalog from within MS Teams. So you see it's just sitting here within this particular site. I can filter particular items as I so wish. There's probably quite a few resources on the site, and I can view and I can open these sections and view these contents right here in MS Teams. All the while, I might have my calendar up for a meeting that I've got in a few moments. I might be chatting with my colleagues or my manager, and this is bouncing around going, oh, I did actually see this. It was in the company's policy resource. I can grab a link and then I can post it right here in the chat. I can also access and complete my current learning. So whatever courses and programs and certifications I'm currently enrolled in, I can jump straight into those. Again, all embedded within this MS Teams area. And I can create new content as I like. So if I stumble across something while I'm in a meeting or while I'm talking with someone else, I can create a resource just like I would, we saw within my demo site right here within MS Teams. And this will be populated. If you want to later log into your Totara site, it will still be there. In this case, it means that you've got a seamless single sign-on between your Totara site, your Totara Engage site, and your MS Teams installation. And the last thing is this chat. And this allows you to optionally receive notifications that would normally be generated from the system, from Totara. It might ordinarily be a task or alert on your dashboard, or maybe an email. And you can opt to receive them here within MS Teams. So again, very much learning and being reminded in the flow of work using the Microsoft Teams integration. Okie dokie. I see a few questions. So anything around Engage or Workspaces there, Matt?
Not at the moment, but a good question that's useful for everyone to know though. Does Totara feature, can you use H5P? So the authoring tool, H5P, can you use that with Totara?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, so that's a good one. So if anyone is using interactive videos and things like that, you can use H5P with Totara.
Yeah, I think we use that across some of our content in the Academy, don't we, Matt?
We used to use it sometimes for a skills journey, which is one of our set of courses did use H5P. But yeah, it's a great authoring tool that you can use with Totara.
Excellent. Cool. All right, so let's jump into a course here. I want to talk a little bit about the seminar updates across it. So we put a particular amount of effort into Totara 12 around both the reporting tool and the seminar tool, and we called it refactoring. And it was a lot of work from a technical point of view, but as an end user, perhaps didn't see a lot of result. However, across 13, we've now seen our efforts rewarded at the front end, so you can see. And the seminar tool got a lot of love across Totara 13. We appreciate that it's a tool that a lot of people use. And it's a tool that allows you to create and manage the attendance or booking and attendance of people at events, whether they are physical events, or less likely physical events, or more likely virtual events at the moment. So one of the changes that at least 43% of the viewers watching will see is that there's an improved look and feel across the seminar tool in terms of display on this front page. It's kind of a lighter look and feel. We've got some softer colors, but one of the things that I get really excited about is just being able to tell the difference between an event and the sessions within the event. Before that was a little bit clunky. So we've improved that. And as a reminder, I'm logged in as Lisa. I have already booked Lisa into this event, which is happening right now. And what we've done is created an integration with MS Teams and Zoom, so you can connect your Totara Learn site to your Zoom account as well as your MS Teams system. And that means if you create a seminar event, so in this case, I created this one earlier for right now, I can then create a corresponding MS Teams, in this case, a space or room for this particular event or particular session. So if you see at the bottom of my screen, right at the taskbar, trying to get my mouse really big, if you see if I hover over that join now button, it would take me with some authorization directly to MS Teams and fire up have that virtual event created. As a learner, it would rely on the trainer, the allocated trainer or an administrator to be in there first, but they would typically start that. So just like you joined our Zoom call today, it's a matter of clicking on a link. Same thing would happen if you used Zoom instead of Teams here. Your join now button would fire up the webinar like we did, you did 37 minutes ago. Now, clicking into this event here, this browse for different event and this page has also been improved. Again, you can see upcoming sessions and past sessions, and rather than having a really long page of all the previous events like we had before, you can cut down to the latest 30, which is nice. And you can search for events or filter for events in a nice way as well. So you can see if things are upcoming, you can see if booking is opened or if it's waitlisted, if maybe there's a room that's particularly convenient to you or nearby, you might want to look for that. And if there's a particular facilitator you want to NOC or perhaps avoid, you can do that through this facilitation area. Now, at this point, I'd like to switch over to an administrator so you can see some of the bits behind the seminar tool that we've improved across 13. But before I do so, are there any questions relating to seminar there, Matt?
We don't have questions relating to seminar. I just had a question which I've answered about whether or not you can set up e-learning directly with Totara. I'm just saying, yeah, there's lots of activity types available in Totara, and also saying that if you do look at one of our academy courses, you can see an example of activities of a course you can build directly in Totara. And those courses have a mixture of SCORM elements using authoring tools such as Adapt, but also our native activities. So we have the quiz and other activity types that are available. We've also got a question here, which is saying, where can I look at to delegate the learner or management in particular about providing accreditation? So I wondered if you could just speak briefly, Mayeth, about the types of accreditation, so certifications, for example, that you can use in Totara Learn.
Sure. Would you mind if we came back to that? I just want to wrap up seminar and then I'll finish it, just because otherwise I'll be jumping around a bit.
We certainly can. Sorry about that.
Thank you.
And derail the whole show.
Okay, so I'm logged in as an administrator now, and I've turned into the same course that we were looking at a moment ago from Lisa. Just to answer the first question in terms of creating content, there are a range of inbuilt authoring tools, as well as being able to add content that you've authored out externally. So you can actually just drag and drop your SCORM packages directly into these courses if you so wish. And there's a range of more static or kind of passive content that you can add. So you can upload content, create your own content, add files, or insert links as you so wish. Now, back into this seminar tool. So one thing that we've made a bigger advancement on is we've now got the ability to have, oops, that didn't work, facilitators specifically linked to an event. So previously we had rooms and equipment or assets that we could add. Excuse me, cough break. And previously, if we wanted to add a trainer, we'd have to add them as an asset, which kind of puts them kind of along the same lines as a laptop or a fire blanket or fire extinguisher. So we've created a separate entity called facilitators, and those can be linked to actual users within your site. So that means that you can create calendar management and a series of notifications relating to facilitators and who's associated with a particular event. We have also added the ability to take attendance at both the event level as well as the session level. And that means that you can accommodate sessions that are going to be split across several days, or maybe you can accommodate here a lunch break, and you can see who comes back or who doesn't come back from the lunch break and take attendance accordingly. But you can also accommodate training models where you might allow people to do a morning session and an afternoon session, but they don't have to be on the same day. Or maybe that people that need to attend, 5 of 10 sessions, but it doesn't matter how many that they and in what order they attend. So it means you've got a range of options in terms of managing your offline and virtual events. Okay, so can you read out that question around accreditation again, just to remind folks what I'm talking about, please, Matt?
I can. Just to say, really, is there a way to provide accreditation to learners in Totara, really?
Thank you very much. So there are a couple of ways that you can do that. So at the course level, we were just looking at a course, you can award people an actual certificate or a badge on completion of a particular course. You can, because you can track activity completion and course completion at that learn level. You can also use the competency framework to drive accreditation. So completion of a course may award an individual proficiency in one or many competencies. We'll talk a little bit more about competencies. Oh gosh, look at the time, that has flown by. Soon, I'm going to have to move on to perform very soon. And then finally, we've got this idea of programs and certifications. So programs are typically a series of courses that usually mandatory training, but could also be using those adaptive pathways. And then we have what are called certifications. And certifications allow you to create a series of training items. Let's say first aid certification is a really nice one to go by. And perhaps for your certification or accreditation, for the first time around, you have to take 2 particular courses, or maybe it's a 5-day intensive seminar activity. And then after a certain period of time, which you can specify, 6 or 12 months, for example, around first aid, you'll then be prompted to recertify. And in that case, it's just a refresher course, just the one course to redo. Now, when you create these certifications, you can choose how many courses make up both the the certification path, as well as the recertification path. Could be identical, if you so wish. And under this little tab here, certification, you can choose the cycle in which they have to recertify and how long their certification or accreditation is active for. Now, behind all of the certification management, you can enroll people in bulk through audiences or automatically through audiences. And there is a series of reports that you can use and create that will alert folks if there's been any failure to recertify. So in terms of reporting, we've, as you see, for anyone who's already using Totara Learn, we've made some major improvements to the look and feel of this report area. And this includes, again, a sort of tile-based view, as well as a new what's called graphing library, which is basically what makes these pretty graphs go up. So they nice colors, there's a nice animation, and there's a couple of new report types, which are this progress donut, and a sort of a I was on a demo yesterday, I called this a skinny pie chart. So it's a standard donut. And you can change the colors as you so like. This is an example of a crazy graph, which just shows you all of the colors, for example. So you've got a nicer palette and generally more modern look and feel across these reports. But when you create these reports, you've got, again, a new interface where you can search across which type of report or what area you want to report on, for example, courses. And you can see at a view what their report kind of is used for and what information will be in it by default. You can do a quick create, or you can create it and edit it. So you can add your own columns or rename your columns as you so wish. So it means that the report builder is incredibly robust. You can create your own reports. You can also schedule reports to be run and sent to people automatically, which ties into that accreditation. So if I scroll down here, you can see of all of the reports that I've created, I could have a report around a certification, for example, and I can schedule a report to be sent to me or to relevant folks, every day, every week, every month, to highlight anyone who's failed to recertify, failed to reaccredit or be accredited for a particular item. Right, I'm aware that I'm going on, so I'm going to pull the handbrake on Learn. I'm going to cover off Perform very quickly now. While I'm logging back in as Lisa, are there any questions on Report Builder or accreditation there, Matt?
So I'm currently answering a question on languages, but I haven't got any questions just on reports at the moment. I think that was all crystal clear for everyone. So
we must assume.
Yeah.
Okay. So I've logged back in as Lisa, so you can see what it looks like in terms of the performance side of it. So again, like Engage, it can be added to your installation here or be run independently. And the focus around Total Reform is a kind of an advancement across the competencies functionality, as well as a major update across the what was the appraisals functionality in Total Learn, but now is called performance activities. Excuse me, and those performance activities support appraisal type functionality, as well as performance, as well as feedback and check-in. And I just stumbled because I realized I hadn't done what I was promising to do, which is use these slides as placeholders. So I'm just going to skip through some of the screenshots across mobile, flag here for Engage as a summary of what the functionality is, and then move on to Perform rapidly. So what underpins our Total Reform application is the idea of supporting continuous performance management. And the idea behind that is rather than the, big scary, let's try that again, the big scary once a year appraisal where everyone gets anxious and there's a lot of work for everyone involved. It's a continuous cycle of review and improvement and coaching. So managers know what staff need and want, and staff know what their managers need and want from them. So across the competency profile, we now have this dashboard or summary of what competencies, in this case, Lisa Learner, has been assigned and has assigned herself. In these graphs here, she can click on it and see how she might achieve those items. So in this case, she's already achieved critical information seeking. She is proficient. She's using a 3-stage, or in this case, it's a 3-stage scale for this competency. And her manager, or actually in this case herself, she's given herself a rating of competent. She's very confident, our Lisa. There are other ways to achieve items. So for example, under embracing change, Lisa's not doing so great. She's competent with supervision. And again, the manager hasn't yet rated anything, but she's rated it herself. So she could go in and provide an alternative rating if she so wishes. And if I logged in as her manager, I could also provide an alternative rating. There's also the ability to complete or have an achievement path that's based on course completion. So in this case, this is a competency that Lisa has already achieved. Again, it's a 3-stage scale, but it could be multiple multiple stages on a scale. In this case, she is awarded not competent when she's assigned that competency, and that's done. The next level, competent with supervision, she had to complete this course, which she did. And that last level, competency, she had to complete the advanced process mapping course. Again, she did, and she's completed, so she's been awarded this particular competency. So you can achieve competencies through manual ratings or through completion of courses or through the completion or achievement of other competencies, or a combination of all three. And you can provide the system with a guidance on which scale or which rating or what type of achievement path kind of wins. So if an individual has completed a course, but their manager wants to say, actually, Lisa hasn't demonstrated that behavior. She may have passed the course, but she's not actively listening, and that was part of her communication course. Her manager can go in and give her a lower rating rather than the assumption that she completed the course, she's achieved the competency. Now, as I touched on before, across Total 14, we're adding the ability to add ratings and update competencies and review competencies within performance activities, so within appraisals, within 360 or 270 feedback, as well as check-ins. And also those achievement paths that I was talking about, there's also a warning if you don't set them up properly. So you saw a couple that weren't quite set up. That won't happen across 14. Now we are wrapping up because my voice giving out is usually an indication that people's patience are running out as well. So finally, around performance activities. So I talked about this continuous performance management model. And the idea is that, let me go back to there. You can have a range of different activities or performance activities allocated to you. And underpinning that is the ability to pre-schedule and pre-build these performance activities so that they might be scheduled to run on a particular, well, have a particular schedule, or it could be based on completing or not completing other activities. And there's detailed reporting underpinning all of this functionality. So you can have a bunch of performance activities. At least doesn't log in and do much very often. So you can see that this is a feedback activity that's scheduled every month. And that's why there are so many of them and she's not getting through them. So in this case, Lisa's got a bit of a backlog to go through and update this peer review. But as she clicks on this form, in this case, just a couple of different questions, which are multi-choice, well, single choice, multi-choice, there we go. But there's a range of question types. So there's short answer, long answer, these single choice and multiple choice. There's scales, numeric scales and custom scales. And we'll be introducing the ability to have aggregated questions across Total Perform and 14, as well as what are called review questions, which allows you to pull in those competencies and review them within these activities. So I could talk about performance activities a lot longer. What I want to quickly do, because I'm aware of the time and I've been talking at you guys for a while now, and I want to leave some time for questions. As I'm navigating through to show you this activity management, maybe Matt, you can start peppering me some questions there, and I'll just bring up the screen. Yeah, I want to pick on this one here, which shows you how you can pre-schedule these items.
Sure. So one quick question, Meredith, just about Perform in particular. Are there any other talent mapping related questions except behaviors in the performance tool, perhaps competencies maybe?
Excuse me. So yes, you can, across Total 14, so the upcoming release, we've added the ability to track and to comment on competencies that have been assigned to individual within these performance activities. Any other questions there?
No, we're getting some questions about where to go to sort of get a demo as well of this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post a link into the chat where people can get a demo. If you've not been able to get any of the links today, please let me know and we can follow up in the community, and we can also send you some emails on this as well. So yeah, not to worry. If anyone can't get anything, please feel free to email either Meredith or myself. Do you have your email address on? I'll post our email addresses in as well, so you can feel free to email us as well.
Yeah, please do. So we have rushed, there's a lot to show. It's a big system with a lot of options. So this really just gives a quick overview. You can learn more by going through to the help documentation, through to the Academy, or reaching out to a Total partner. We also offer regular other webinars. These are just the upcoming. And you'll notice that we do things like talk with people that are actually using Totara. So we've got one on the 25th of May with Glovo and how they have been using Totara Learn. So if you're wondering what it's really like to be a Totara customer, you can find out straight from a Totara customer. Are there any other questions? I've got the big queue up, so.
That's a big queue then. A good question is, can 360 reviews be done anonymously?
Yes, they can. That is a great question. Yep, you can choose whether they're anonymous or not. You just wanted to try and make me say that word. And what's interesting across the feedback in particular is that when you're creating those forms as an administrator, you can choose or select who adds participants to that event, that performance event. So if you want the subject or the person responding or about that 360 to choose who is their peer, who is the mentor, who is the manager, you can select that. But if you want a manager to say who's going to respond to someone's 360, you can also select that, or even a combination of the two. And whether it's going to be anonymous or not.
Great, thanks, Meredith. Have got any more questions directly on Perform? Okay.
I can stretch it out to wider Totara if you like.
So people mostly asking like about the pricing structure and where to go next. So I think, yeah, I'm going to post in again the link to the demo and to findings and partners in the chat here. So like I say as well, if you do have additional questions, please feel free to email either myself or Meredith, and we will come back to you with specific answers, particularly if you're looking to invest in Totara for the first time. That can be it's a learning process. So yeah, feel free to ask us anything like that, and we'll definitely come back to you.
Yeah, and in terms of pricing, all I can say is cheaper than you'd expect. But with any piece of software, it's not always a straightforward answer in terms of how long things will take. But giving us a rough idea of your requirements will help your partners assess your needs and provide you pricing and timeframes as well. Well then, thank you so much, everyone, for joining. I know that there's a few more questions, but we'll look at maybe addressing those within the community, if not just to tempt everyone over to the community to view those. As Matt says, you can reach out directly. You can reach out through our partner network if you'd like a more personalized demo or have any specific questions. And do check out the case studies across our website as well. Again, you're only as good as what your customers say about you, and we've got many case studies across a range of sectors, knowing that we've got a range of people here today, and have a look through those and see what our customers say. So thank you so much, everyone who has joined. It's been a trek. I appreciate your time, and thank you so much, Matt, for being the best Matt on chat. As always, I appreciate you.
Thanks again for another interesting experience in the Totara experience.
You're very welcome. So the recording will be up in the next few days in the community if you want to go back and watch anything again. Otherwise, thank you so much and enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. And if we didn't get to your question, we will try and come back to you by email as well. So thanks a lot and have a nice afternoon.